How you doing? Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Today's lesson is all about strumming, and it's a basic lesson. It's how to get started with strumming. It's part of a two-part series. So we're going to cover the fundamentals, and then the next video will be how to do a very common strumming pattern. But if you're not really getting to grips with strumming and you're struggling with it a bit, which is very common, then watch this video first. Don't go straight to the cool bit. Do the hard work, do the basics, and then you'll be able to play properly when you do the second video. And like I say, strumming it looks easy, but it's not. There's stuff going on that you need to think about in order to be able to do it fluently and nicely, basically. So don't worry if you're struggling with this, because basically everybody does. Anyway, having said that, I've got a 4-step plan for us for this lesson. I'm going to go over everything. I want you to play along with me as much as possible throughout the video. So think of this like a little guitar yoga routine or something, and let's just get going. Here we go. Step number 1. When you take your pick, you're going to place it on your low E string. That's that one there. Okay, and I'm holding down a G chord. If you don't know what a G chord is, there's a link in the description to go and find out what that is, but I'm using G. You can use any chord you want really, but if you want to play along with me, chord a G, put your pick, rest it gently on the top low E string, and what you're going to do is you're just going to gently rake all of the strings slowly, making sure you hear every string on the way down. Okay, so just do that a couple of times with me. One more. So we'll go a little bit faster across the strings this time. And what you should be doing, I like to take my pick and I'm sort of aiming it so it's going to finish up on the scratch plate there. So I'm guiding my hand slightly inwards towards the sound hole, towards the body of the guitar, not out away from the guitar, but slightly down and in. And what I'm really doing is I'm just letting the weight of my hand do all of the work. So rest on the lower E string and just kind of let your hand fall gently, so it does all the strings evenly. Kind of looking for evenness. Okay, that's step 1. Okay, now step 2, it's very subtle, but we're going to look at what's happening with our elbow. Because you may have seen people playing and they may have been doing all this sort of stuff. You know, they may have been waving their arm around all over the place, and it looks like they're using the whole arm to strum. And actually you don't want to be using your shoulder. You do want to be using a little bit of effort from the elbow, but the important bit there is it's a little bit of effort. It takes hardly anything. Your elbow is just like a lever, and it's just making a very gradual motion to help bring your pick back to the top and fall down again. Okay, so we're not using big actions. You might do that one day when you're a rock star and you're jumping around on stage, giving it all that, that's fine. But for today, you're just bringing your elbow up very slightly, just enough to get your hand to the top of the thing, and then you're letting the whole hand fall, starting from there. Let's do a few of them. So elbow lifts up just enough to get back there, and then the hand falls. It's very important that you just let the weight of your hand do most of the work. You don't want to be pushing. You don't want to really be feeling tense anywhere in your arm. You want to just, the weight of your hand will naturally do this. And you'll notice it's a sort of sweeping motion with the wrist. It's not tight, it's not jagged, it's not just straight up and down, it's sort of rotating through your wrist joint, starting from the elbow. It's a sort of rolling, sweeping, very relaxing motion really. So yeah, just relax, don't get tense. Worst thing you can do is get tense, because then everything starts to hurt and you'll damage your muscles. You don't want that. So elbow up, just enough to let your hand fall back down. Do a few of them with me. So just remember that, as little movement as possible. Don't make big movements, just enough to get what you need. That's what you're aiming for. Right, step 3 is we're going to practice with a metronome. If you don't know what a metronome is, This is one I have because I'm old school, but you probably get an app on your phone these days. And it's just something to keep you in time. It's a little beat. There you go. So I've got it set to 60 BPM, 60 beats per minute. And what we're going to practice doing is just doing a downstroke, just letting a hand fall across the strings on every single beat that you hear. So after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Just practice that same motion over and over again. Now, what we're going to do, because what we need to do is understand the beats, is we're just going to play on beat 1 and leave gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, join in. And leaving those extra beats and just really focusing on getting everything right every time. Two more of these. 1, 2, lift your hand up, 3, 4, and let down. Now we're going to play on beats 1 and beat 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Elbow up. Just enough. Let your hand do the work. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now let's go back to doing all 4 beats. 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop there. Now, if you want to practice that a little bit more yourself, then you can just either pause or go back and do that again. But just, you're going to get this right from the beginning. If you put the work in now, you're going to be strumming like a genius very soon. But if you try and skip along and this isn't feeling right, make it feel right. Okay, don't try and skip and do it your own way just yet. Try following this method. So I'm just going to recap what we've got so far. You let your hand fall, and you start with a very subtle motion from your elbow, and just letting the wrist rotate through the joints comfortably, easily. The weight of the hand does all the work. Now, so far we've just been doing downbeats. We've just been going like that. Now, if you think about it, every time you've gone down, your hand has to come back up, and then it goes again. Up, down. So what we're going to do is we're going to add upbeats, and that just means as your hand comes back up, you're going to let it come across the strings like this. We'll go down, up, down, up. And this is where we get into kind of more proper strumming in a way. Okay? So let's do this with me for a second. 1, down, up. So you're just letting the pick drag across the strings in reverse. It's just the exact reverse motion of the down stroke. Maybe a slight flick of the wrist to get up there, but don't go too far. Don't go up here and then your hand has to fall all the way. You just want to come just to near the top of that string there. So just like your hand had to point down the way slightly as it went down, sort of down and in, your hand sort of comes up and out a little bit as it comes back up. Well, it doesn't even have to do that really, it just has to come straight back up, straight towards the ceiling. Now we're going to go back to using our metronome. So now we're going to do down and upstrokes. Now what's crucial here is that our upstrokes come in between the beats. In between, not on. Okay, so this is on the beat, or just downstrokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now we're going to get upbeats in between. Just, I think, don't play this time, just watch and listen. 3, 4. Nice and even. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in between the main beats. Don't know why I said it like that. 3, 4, and okay, so you're going to join in this time. So just like you did before, but now letting your hand come up and do the upstrokes in between the beats. That's very important to have in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to just move your elbow as little as possible to and more time, but this time you're going to really mess up your head, and you're going to tap your foot on the downbeats. Okay, so every time your hand goes down, you're tapping one of your feet. Okay, which sounds easy, but it's really tricky. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let the weight of your hand do all of the work. A little bit of that elbow, and then you're just coming from the wrist. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just keep going. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. There you go. That was the basics of strumming, and I'd encourage you to go over that until you're really comfortable with all that before you move on to the second part of the lesson, where we'll be doing this strumming pattern. Learn that in the next lesson. All right, good luck. If you've got any questions, leave a comment in the message. Leave a message in the comments below, and I'll get back to you.